Feeling behind financially, it's not your investments. It's the steps most financial advisors never taught you.
You're always taught to invest first, but the reality is that's actually a step after achieving a couple different things. Let me explain to you exactly what that may mean.
Today's episode is brought to you by Security Financial Management.
Welcome back to the Best Advice Podcast, guys. I'm your host, Robert Lovaglio. Here as always, again, Trevor. We're on another roll with Trevor Bell, Mr. Young CFP, the GOAT. Are you off today or you have paid time off again?
I'm actually out till Friday.
He's got paid time off again. He's here again, man. This is the truck. He gets it done, man.
We got to get the clips out, man.
Yeah. Give the people what they want, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Got to keep educating. That never stops, you know?
That's amazing. We're going to jump straight into it today, guys, with the question of the day. Today's question comes from Stacy from California. It's nice having some girls.
Yeah.
Stacy, what you got for us?
I'm making decent money in investing, but I still feel behind financially. What am I missing?
Thank you, Stacy. Trevor, please let them know what they're missing. Where do we start here?
Yeah, no, this is a great question and something that I get all the time. Of course, I'm a younger individual. I work with a handful of younger folks. And something that I always take them through in our process and my process is the CFP framework.
Okay.
And essentially what that means is breaking down expenses, coming up with a budget plan. Of course, you want to really match it with your actual expenses, but furthermore, set goals for yourself in terms of your spending, limits in different categories and things of that nature.
Yeah. And
from your budget, you then come up with your emergency savings need.
So is this kind of like the CFP, for people who don't know what CFP is, Certified Financial Planner? It's an organization. You have to go through a bunch of hoops to get it, right? It's one thing to be a financial advisor. To get your CFP is like the doctrine. I don't even know how to explain it. But so this is
quite a bit.
CFP steps to
really just financial planning, right? So
and how to set up
certified financial planners certificate, right? So, and in saying that, we actually go through 7 different modules that range from estate planning to investment planning, tax planning. I'm not going to go into all those; it's irrelevant to this exactly. But point in saying that is you come up with a fully comprehensive financial plan throughout your education.
So these are the steps to make sure you're kind of like checking off. To make sure
their exact frame.
Yes,
plan. Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah. So step 1 was
you got to create your budget plan.
Okay,
right?
So you basically know what you're spending. Know where you're at.
You got to know what you're spending.
Okay.
And you've got to be honest with yourself. Yeah. And a lot of times when I'm sitting down again with the younger individuals that I work with, we will literally look through 3 months of bank statements.
Yeah, being honest with yourself is a huge part of it. You know, I lie to myself every day and every month when I'm doing my tax. I'm doing my tax for the year right now. I'm like, I didn't spend that much on Uber Eats.
Yeah,
like, it's almost like I don't want anything. Like, there's no way I spend that much on Uber Eats. Not doing it.
100%. And it's funny you bring that up, Rob, because my fiance Nicole, she loves Uber Eats, and it's honestly like it's the one expense that I see, you know, between us two that I would just love to eliminate all that. Like it drives me up a wall because it is expensive.
They put up quite the premium.
They do.
They do. It's like always like buy one get one free, but they tripled the price of the original. It's like $30 for a cheeseburger, but buy one get one free. It's like a cheeseburger is only $10.
Right. You know what they say? Convenience costs, my friend.
Yes.
Convenience costs. Anyway.
Terrible habit.
Well, it's neither here nor there. I see it all the time.
So we'll get back. We're getting out of hand a little bit here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Trevor. Step 1 is being honest with your budget and understanding exactly what you get for your budget.
Yes,
right?
and the reason behind that, of course, is so you remain disciplined. That's the key word with it. But it's how you build your emergency reserves.
Okay.
Your cash equivalents is what we like to call it.
Okay.
And so for somebody who, let's just say, is in a sales-oriented role, the CFP framework typically says you want to have at least 6 months of your expenses stored away in just cash, right? And that doesn't mean cash under your bed, but in cash equivalents, right? A high-yield savings account. Your checking savings account at your primary bank is something that is easily accessible before you ever begin to think about investing.
So once you understand your monthly expenses, you times that by, what did you say, 6?
6 for somebody who's in a sales-oriented role or a variable income.
So like real estate agents? Or
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Whereas, let's just say somebody works at Lockheed Martin, they're a very stable employment.
Same income.
Yeah, it's
salary.
You might get 3 to 5% raise each year, but you're not going to see a decline, anything like that. Very stable.
How many?
3 months.
3 months. Okay.
3 months. And a lot of that comes down to comfortability too. And something else to kind of touch on, which we will touch on later, is a lot of times portfolios, have built-in cash as well. So that could kind of be considered in that bucket. But again, just having the framework, having the general idea of, hey, I've got 3 months or 6 months of my expenses parked away, where if I got fired tomorrow, if I got laid off tomorrow, I could pay the bills for a handful of months.
Peace of mind almost.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. So we got the budgets, number one. Number two is figure out your reserves and get your reserves, like emergency fund almost.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so now where are we step number 3?
So step number 3, and I think I had mentioned it earlier in this conversation, is, and now we're going to wrap the investments into it, right? Because of course, we mentioned it in the beginning of the episode, investing is critical, but a lot of times it's taught, hey, just park all your money and invest it. Okay, well, that goes exactly against the framework that I've always been taught, like I said, with the CFP, and building your cash reserves and making sure you have cash equivalents. Now we get into step 3. Let's invest now at this point. And then the investments have got to match up with your goals. So
step 4 is goals, or are we still?
Well, no. So the investments and the goals go hand in hand. How we do things, maybe not everybody. I would hope that be the case. But in saying that, the goals go with the investments. And when I say that, I'm particularly talking to my younger generation. And we've talked about bucketed strategies before, Rob. How we may have some in high risk or low risk categories, and that's exactly what I mean with this stuff. So your retirement accounts, your Roth IRAs, your traditional IRAs, rollover IRAs, we could go on and on, SEP IRAs, those have a very long time horizon. Why do they have a long time horizon for somebody who's a younger individual? It's because you're not pulling from it till 59 and a half, right?
Yes.
Or else you're going to be penalized. So we could take a little bit more risk in your retirement accounts when you're a young age, right?
Definitely.
Now, we talked about the emergency reserve and having that in cash tied to the expenses, but then how do we go about investing once we have already exceeded our emergency fund? And that's where the goals come in. Because a lot of times what I'm seeing with my folks who are 25 to 30, maybe early 30s, is they want to buy a home, right? And sometimes, depending on here in the state of Florida,
you don't want to tie up money right now if you need a down payment.
Exactly.
Makes sense. I'm following.
So, and furthermore, number one, you don't want to tie it up. That doesn't mean you can't invest a down payment, but you can if you're doing it in a bucketed strategy, right?
Yes.
So if, let's for example say you've got $15,000 parked away in a high yield savings account, that's your cash reserve, and then you dive into the down payment for a house, let's just call it for simplicity $20,000, and you've got an additional $50,000 sitting in the bank. You may want to park $20,000 towards very, very safe securities, whether that be fixed income, treasury bills, treasury bond. Yeah, exactly. You picking up what I'm saying. And so that portion of the down payment, it's still making you money, but it's not going to, again, with the fixed income or whatever it may be.
Tie it up for too long.
Yes. And you have accessibility to it. So when that house that comes on the market does come in front of you and you say, hey, I want to be able to buy this, you're either, coming up with a blend of the investments and high yield savings or whatever the case may be. Point being is that you're segmenting funds specifically to that goal.
Yes.
Right. So that could be like a 1 to 3 year goal. Right. Then you talk maybe a 3 to 7 year goal is you want to do some renovations with the house. Right. So that time horizon has a different risk associated with it as well.
Yes. So depending on your goals, how long we can basically tie up your money is very relevant, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So,
absolutely.
Okay. That makes sense. So it ties in with the investment has to tie in with the goals because you can't. Yes, I get it.
Yes, exactly. And actually, I was talking with one of my younger clients this morning on the way here, and he was wondering, he's at $800 a month right now, which is directly correlated with his budget. We know his excess amount from spending over saving. He's like, hey, T, why aren't we just putting it all towards the IRA, right? He has 2 different accounts with me. He's got rollover IRA from an old 401k account with an old employer, and then he's got an individual account, a taxable individual account. and he's adding that $800 a month to his individual account, and he's like, hey man, why aren't we just putting it towards the IRA? And I told him, we could do a blend of the two, but keep in mind with that taxable individual account, we're keeping that liquid for you. Sure, we would have to sell some security holdings and different things that are in the account to generate cash to send to him, but it's not tied up and going to be penalized if he needed to pull from it, right? And that's the education that I don't think necessarily gets talked about all the time. Everybody is so quick, like what TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever it may be. That max out your Roth IRA, max out.
Be your own bank.
100%. There's always
infinite
something.
banking. It's like, bro, that's not how it works.
And no, it's not. It's not how it works. And furthermore, you've got to be strategic in where you're putting your money because, okay, let's just say in an annual basis you have $10,000 of extra money that you save in excess of your budget, your expenses, and somebody online says, hey, max out your Roth IRA. That's the number one thing you need to do. Well, that $10,000 that you could have saved, 70% of it just went to a Roth IRA that you can't even access till 59.5.
Yes.
Without penalty.
Yes.
So it's like, everybody has individual situations.
Everything has to be accounted for.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And
that's
that's why we're doing this to begin with.
Yeah, this to be so intentional when doing like strategic financial planning with people's life savings. It's so meticulous.
Well, and I think the one thing that the CFP has taught me that I love is it's crazy how, to your point, those little things tie in with everything else.
Yes.
Because again, it's all a step-by-step process. We don't get to how much you should invest on a monthly basis or initial contribution without going through a full detailed expense report, essentially, right? Going through all your expenses, coming up with the amount that you need for emergency savings. Then to unpack that emergency savings more, how much do we put in a high yield savings? How much do we keep in your checking account at Chase? That's a whole nother thing. We're not going to unravel right now. But then, to that point, it's step by step to finally get to the end goal of, hey, I've saved enough money in retirement accounts. I've saved enough money in individual accounts. I can, spend some money for a down payment on a house. I can go buy that jet ski I wanted, whatever the case may be.
No, makes sense. Beautifully said, Truck. And it's a slippery slope how deep we can get into this. There's just so many different parts. It's like you could talk an hour about each little,
nook and cranny.
Each little crumb of it all.
Absolutely.
But for the sake of timing, let's get back to Stacy's question. What in a summary here, Truck? What is Stacy missing, or what advice can you give her in a summary?
It just sounds like, to be quite frank, Stacy may just be investing and not really have like purpose-driven planning is what I like to call it.
I like that.
You got to set goals. You got to be honest with your budget and then follow the guideline. If you want to get into the weeds, I'd be more than happy to break it down with you. Feel free to shoot me an email. I'm sure the contact's everywhere, throughout the video or in the description rather. But ultimately it just comes down to, again, purpose-driven planning and having goals match with your investments.
I really think like having a team working for you 24/7 too. It's like, this is so much. I was doing my taxes yesterday. I was like, this is overwhelming, man. And talk about just taxes for the year. This is your life savings of years of inheritances and Social Security. It's like, it's overwhelming. You need to have a team and a team of specialists to be confident about it and know your moves. So if you want to talk to Trevor, any one of our certified financial planners, I'm going to leave a link right here in the description. And remember, folks, the secret to wealth is not what you earn.
It's what you keep.
It's what you keep. Happy days, everybody.
This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended as personal financial advice. Before making any financial decision, please do your own research and consult a financial advisor as needed.